I didn't grow up being accused outright. It was smaller than that, quieter. My father would tilt his head when relatives said I looked like him. He'd smile in a way that didn't reach his eyes and say, "She gets her looks from somewhere else." When I was 12, he laughed at a family dinner and said I was too pretty to be his. Everyone laughed with him. I learned to laugh too. My mother never corrected him. That silence became evidence in my father's mind and eventually in mine. By the time I was 17, the word cheater wasn't spoken, but it was everywhere. In how he avoided photos with me. In how he introduced me to coworkers without saying my daughter. In how arguments between my parents always ended with him leaving the room and her staring at the floor. I tried to become undeniable. I studied harder. I followed rules obsessively. I searched my face in the mirror for his nose, his jaw, anything I could point to and say, "See." But resemblance is a weak defense against suspicion. When I finally asked my mother if a DNA test would end it, she didn't answer right away. She looked older in that moment, smaller. "If you need it," she said. That was the closest thing to permission I got. The test wasn't an act of defiance. It was an attempt to restore something ordinary. I imagined handing my father the results and watching the tension drain from his shoulders. I imagined an apology that didn't need words. The results came by email. I opened them alone. Not related to my father. I stared at the screen, waiting for panic. It didn't come. Just confusion. A practical thought, the test must be wrong. Then I scrolled. Not related to my mother either. That was the moment the room felt unstable, like the floor had been quietly replaced with something hollow. My father didn't shout when I told him. He became precise. He read the report line by line, as if looking for a loophole he could argue with. When he finished, he said, "Hospitals make mistakes." For the first time in my life, he sounded unsure. We booked flights the same day. At the hospital, no one cried. We spoke in clipped sentences. My mother kept her hands folded in her lap. My father asked for records like a man used to being believed. The nurse who met us wasn't defensive or dramatic. She looked tired, older than the building. She pulled files with careful movements, as if aware of the weight they carried. She didn't confess right away. She explained procedures. Timelines, a renovation that happened the year I was born, a system that relied on handwritten tags and overnight shifts. Then she paused. "There was an incident," she said, not looking at me. 2 infants, similar birth times, 1 staff shortage. The words felt clinical, but my chest tightened. She said my name, then another one. She said switched, but not like it was shocking. Like it was something she'd carried for years, waiting for the right question to unlock it. My father didn't speak. His face went blank first, then drained of color. He reached for the chair and missed it, collapsing not with drama, but with the quiet inevitability of gravity. No one rushed to him. Not immediately. The nurse called for help, but the moment stretched. I didn't feel satisfaction. I didn't feel vindicated. I felt strangely calm, as if the accusation that had followed me my entire life had finally dissolved, leaving behind an unfamiliar silence. Authority didn't arrive as punishment. It arrived as confirmation. Paperwork. Names. An internal review already half written before we walked in. No one apologized to me directly, not in a way that tried to heal anything. My mother cried later in the hotel bathroom, where she thought I couldn't hear her. My father didn't cry at all. He avoided my eyes for the rest of the trip, not out of anger, but because the story he'd told himself for 17 years had collapsed, and there was nothing left to replace it. On the flight home, I watched clouds drift beneath us and realized something unsettling. I was free from blame, but I was also unanswered. I didn't belong to the family I'd spent my life trying to prove myself worthy of. And I didn't know the family I'd been born into. Identity, I learned, isn't just truth, it's continuity. And mine had been interrupted. When people ask now if things were resolved, I don't know how to answer. My father no longer calls my mother a cheater. He also no longer knows how to speak to me. My mother has started telling the truth out loud, even when it makes her voice shake. As for me, I stopped trying to resemble anyone. There was no celebration, no reunion montage. Just a quiet shift in control, from suspicion to fact, from accusation to record. I didn't gain a new family, but I regained something smaller and sturdier. The right to exist without explanation.